And now, the For Pete's Sake podcast, hosted by Rob Blackman and Joey Mulinaro.
And hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. I'm Rob Blackman, he's Joey Mulinaro, and we are excited to have you joining us here today because we have an awful lot to talk about. We're going to talk to Purdue's All-American point guard, Braden Smith. He's kind enough to give us a few minutes today to talk about the start of the Purdue men's basketball season. Of course, Purdue just playing this past Friday night at Kentucky in an exhibition game. We'll get his thoughts on what we should expect from this upcoming Purdue basketball season. Also joining us, wrestling coach Tony Ersland, about to embark on his 12th season as the Purdue head wrestling coach, and let's just say things are looking on the up and up for his team. Last year, finishing 13th in the Nationals, Purdue's best finish in a long, long time. So we'll talk with him about not only his team, but some individual standout wrestlers as well. And Joey Mulinaro, we do have to talk some Purdue football. That was a tough one to take on Saturday because we were so close against Rutgers.
Yeah, Rob, great to be back with you. Exciting show today, as all things you mentioned there. It is. It's very tough because you're just right there. You're on the precipice week after week. Seemingly, you just can't put it all together. But like Coach Odom said, and I believe him, the wins are going to come. The progress is being made. You see it on both sides of the ball. All three phases of the game, really, you see it. It's just that one or maybe two plays that have just continued to bite the Boilers in the rear end.
And look, Coach Odom I've appreciated his being candid and honest, whether it's on our post-game radio interview or just visiting with the media. You know, he said after that game Saturday, yes, we are close, but we have to figure out a way to finish in the fourth quarter. That really is the next step because you think about the loss at Minnesota, yep. Purdue had the lead in the fourth quarter, the loss against Rutgers, Purdue had the lead in the fourth quarter. That is the next step for a young team. Okay, we're getting almost to the finish line. Now, how do you cross that finish line?
Yep, and it's just unfortunate, it is, because you look at how the season is broken down, and you feel like, man, you've had those opportunities that are right there, but when you're looking in the rearview mirror like that doesn't really do you much good. Yeah. You got to keep facing forward. So, Coach Odom's going to do what him and his staff got to do, and they're going to go up to Michigan this week for one at the Big House before coming back and facing Ohio State. I mean, look, it's a really, really difficult end to the season, right, schedule-wise.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that there's an opportunity to show even more progress of, hey, we're going to, yes, the ball hasn't bounced our way. We've been up against it. The breaks haven't gone our way. We made some mistakes, but you know what? We're going to come out, we're going to fight, and we're going to finish strong despite that happening earlier in the year. So hopefully that's what happens on Saturday in the Big House and come next weekend at Ross State against Ohio State.
That's Saturday night, 7 p.m., as Joey said, at the Big House, Purdue against Michigan. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, time for our Lafayette Limo liftoff segment. Kind of a little twist, if you will, in the Lafayette Limo segment. With Braden Smith being one of our special guests today, we're going to share some of our all-time favorite Braden Smith moments in a Purdue basketball uniform. That is part of the Lafayette Limo liftoff segment. That is coming next. This is For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. Time now for our Lafayette Limo liftoff segment. Lafayette Limo, family-owned, women-owned, serving Greater Lafayette for over 38 years. Shuttles to and from Indianapolis and O'Hare airports 365 days a year. Make your reservations now at LafayetteLimo.com. Lafayette Limo, proud sponsor of Purdue Athletics. Holidays coming up quickly on us, fans. Might not be a bad time to go ahead and get that reservation so you can get to the airport safely. Maybe you're going home for Thanksgiving, Christmas, I don't know. Hot button topics in Purdue Athletics going on this week. Joey Mulinaro, what do you got?
Yeah, we're lifting off. There was an explosion of offense for the women's Boilermaker basketball team on Monday night. 118-42 win in the exhibition over Purdue Northwest. Again, that was at Mackey. That's the third most points by a Boilermaker squad in exhibition program history. So KG had her on last episode, getting them fired up early there. Lana McCarthy led the way with 16 points. Nia Smith, Tara Day, 15 points each. Then the volleyball team. Coach Shodell just continuing to roll. Squad's off to a 17-3 start. Only the second time with that great of a start in the last 39 seasons.
Wow.
Boilers rolling there. Grace Heaney selected as a Big Ten Player of the Week. Taylor Anderson, Big Ten Setter of the Week. I wonder if we can get, I know they hit the Michael Jackson whenever Michael Jackson scores. Maybe we could get a Heaney one of those at
I don't know why we
Gym.
get it. We can do whatever we want.
All right. Soundboard, let's go. Purdue has racked up a league-leading 7 Big Ten weekly awards and is the only program to have 2 different athletes earn the Player of the Week nod this season.
Wow.
We might have to have Coach Shondell back on.
Yeah, and they're ranked in the top 10 I saw this week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, things are going phenomenally well for the volleyball team. Love to see it. And then how about a little bit of Boilermakers in the pros, Rob? We had George Karloftis, the Kansas City Chiefs, on Monday Night Football. And old GK had a sack and a pass knockdown in that victory. So GK keeps rolling in the pros.
Here's a couple other notes, fans. Congratulations, women's soccer. They didn't make the Big Ten tournament, unfortunately, but at least they finished the season with a win, winning at Minnesota on the road Sunday 2-0, so a good way to end the season with a victory. Coming up this weekend, Big Ten men's individual tennis championships are taking place in Madison, Wisconsin. Good luck to our Boilermaker tennis team on the men's side. Women's side, by the way, women's tennis has a home invitational this coming Friday night. Congratulations to Luana Valero, Big Ten women's freshman golfer of the week. Final week of fall competition, so that's good for her. She gets to hold that trophy now basically all winter until the spring season starts up, which it does start in February, by the way. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to February. And cross-country teams, good luck to you. They compete this Friday in the Big Ten Championships in East Lansing, Michigan. So it is that time of the year where, some of our fall sports are getting into tournament time and or championship time. So good luck to all the Boilermakers competing for a trophy. All right, we told you going to the break. Now we're gonna alter things a little bit on the Lafayette Limo liftoff segment because with Braden Smith coming on as our guest here later on in the program, Joey and I put our heads together, came up with a few of our all-time, and we hope there are more, by the way, but for now, all-time favorite Braden Smith highlights in a Boilermaker uniform. Joey, I will let you start.
Yeah, I went back to that Sweet 16 game in Indianapolis against Houston. It's the second half, and Boilers are trailing by 7. So it's kind of one of those, hey, we really need to get something going here because it could start to get away from you. A little over 10 minutes to play in the second half. Like I said, down 7. And so much was made, and rightfully so, about Houston's length, their ability to defend, how much pressure they put on, opposing offenses. One of the best defenses in the country, right? So there's concern about that going in a little bit from outside noise about, hey, will Purdue, will Braden Smith be able to handle this? I thought this just encompassed what this guy's all about so well. He's near half court. The double team is coming, and he hops up, which typically would be a no-no, to leave your feet, but he does so because he's doing the no-look, thinking he's going to throw it near midcourt again. No-look pass, dime to Trey Kaufman-Renn underneath, who was wide open for an easy slam. Just so impressive because, look, I mean, Braden Smith, he's my height. He's 6 foot tall. And he's facing guys that are easily 6-7 inches taller than him, longer than him, probably more athletic than him. And I thought that encompassed his performance in that game so perfectly. No turnovers.
Right.
He was really in command, controlled everything from the jump, and that play always stuck out to me being so impressive.
I think the most important thing you just said, 0 turnovers against the best defensive team in the nation.
Yep.
For me, boy, I tell you what, 2 seasons ago at Illinois, the dagger 3 he hits from the left wing to silence the sold-out Illini crowd. For those who don't remember the build-up to this game, Purdue had won the game prior and had already guaranteed itself a piece of the Big Ten championship. So Purdue knew it was going to be a Big Ten champion no matter what. But what's on the line in this game? Well, number one, you can have the outright Big Ten championship to yourself. But more importantly, fans forget, Illinois still had a chance to win a piece of the title. This is a huge game for Illinois. They had a chance to win at least a piece of the Big Ten championship, share it with Purdue. But Braden Smith, with that huge dagger late, silenced what was a very raucous crowd in Champaign. That to me was one of the all-time great plays Braden Smith made. I will never forget that one at Illinois, the dagger 3 for Mr. Smith. Another favorite moment for me. Remember the time Braden was just shy of a triple-double? Needed one more rebound to have the first triple-double in Purdue basketball history since Joe Barry Carroll. It would be only the second triple-double ever in the history of Purdue basketball, Joe Barry Carroll having the other one. Braden wanted to sub himself into the game. Nope. Okie doke. I'm just joking. He could have subbed in, gotten one more rebound, had the second triple-double in the history of Purdue basketball. He was just kidding around. You saw the look on Matt Painter's face. To me, the look is priceless on Coach Painter's face when Braden goes walking past him as if he's going to sub himself into the game. Great look there. Also, you can see Zach Edey with a laugh. You can see the grin from Fletcher Lawyer. Here we go, Braden. I'm going to sub myself into the game. Up. Not really, yeah. Coach Painter. I'm just kidding. To me, one of the all-time great Braden Smith moments.
I know that look. It's the look that my wife gives me when I'm telling her I'm going to golf. I'm walking out the door. I've seen it very many times. But what a moment there, yeah. Two great ones, Rob, really. Going back to the Illinois one, I mean, just forgetting that hand in his face, hand down, man down, Mark Jackson style, and really, really incredible stuff. My second one is I went to his performance, just his overall performance at Iowa, another tough place to play in the Big Ten.
Yeah, last season.
February of 25. Yeah. It's middle of the week. It's a late tip. All these things kind of working against you in a raucous environment. And you're going to see that this year, obviously. It's a long season. Those Tuesday, Wednesday nights in January, February, you're going to have that. And, I mean, the stat line for him, which I know you know well, Rob, but for the Boilers out there listening, played all 40 minutes.
Yep.
31 points on 11 of 15 shooting, 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. And what I think it just says is how important and how incredible it is to have a guy on those nights where hey, student section is going to be raucous. It's cold. It's minus 10 degrees outside. Everybody's kind of tired. It's just that rough time of the year. But to have a dude who can put on a performance like that on the road, put the team on his back, I know it's going to pay dividends again this season, just like it did at Iowa last year.
That was a special performance. I will certainly agree with you there, partner. One more I want to mention, and this takes us back to Braden's freshman season. We're in Portland, the Phil Knight Classic. You remember Purdue went into that tournament. It's a three-game tournament. Purdue ends up winning the tournament by beating Duke in the championship game. But this pass against Gonzaga, remember this is Braden's freshman year. He's now, 3 or 4 games into his Purdue career. This is the pass he's making as a true freshman on the dime there to Zach Edey for the two-handed dunk. We probably should have known then, Joey. Maybe we didn't realize it at the time. But looking back, I think we should have known then that this guy was going to be a special point guard and has a chance to challenge for the all-time assist record in the history of college basketball this year.
You know what that looks like, that play? It looks like Steve Nash or Jason Williams. Remember those guys? Just so nifty, like a wizard with the ball, can do whatever he wants with it, behind the head, no look to Zach Edey. And, they're playing Gonzaga, who is ranked 6th in the country at the time. Out there in the West Coast, was a home game for them. But you're absolutely right. So impressive. And hey, we're going to talk about it with him, but his debut against Truman State only happened a few games before what you see right there, and he came a long way in a short amount of time. What a play.
Well, Joey already teasing what we're going to talk to Braden with, and he joins us here in just a little bit. Braden Smith's first ever game in a Purdue uniform against Truman State, November 2nd, 2022. Let's just say it wasn't quite highlight worthy, but man, he's come a long way. And we're going to talk with him about that. When we come back, however, we're going to talk a little Purdue wrestling. Tony Ersland, my goodness, what has he done with our Purdue wrestling program? They are on the up and continuing to trend the right direction. The 12th year head coach of our grapplers, as they like to say, joins us next on For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. So stay with us, please. Welcome back, everyone. Let's talk a little Purdue wrestling. What do you say? Time for a big interview segment. It's brought to you by your Central Indiana Ford dealers. They are proud sponsors of Purdue Athletics. Visit your local Central Indiana Ford dealer today. As promised, you can see to our left Tony Ersland, the 12th year head coach of our Purdue wrestling Boilermakers, who are coming off one of the best seasons they have had in a long time. 13th place finish last year at the NCAA Championships, our highest as a team for the Boilermakers since 1992. 2 All-Americans, including a national runner-up in Joey Blaze. We will talk about him specifically in a moment. And 15 academic All-Big Ten honorees. May I go out on a limb, Coach Ersland, and say right now, Purdue wrestling is rolling at an all-time high, at least under your 12 seasons here at Purdue.
Yeah, I feel really good. I mean, you never want to get too comfortable as a coach, right? You always got to be kind of paying attention to the shifting landscape that is NCAA athletics. But, man, just very high and cautiously optimistic about the potential of this team. As you mentioned, returning Joey Blaze and then a cast of others that should be a really strong supporting group that can build on some highs last year.
Coach, I'm always so surprised and interested to hear about how this new age of NCAA, NIL, transfer portal affects all sorts of different sports, not just when you think of football or basketball. How has it been for you, and how have you, kind of adjusted to it?
Yeah, and again, you speak to your culture, and you mentioned some of the good things we did, right? We've been performing well athletically, and then the All Big Ten, right? Half your team being on that All Big Ten list. I feel like that lends to a strong culture, right? And so we have a great group of guys who support each other well. Both in the classroom and on the mat. And that's led to us having strong results within keeping our group. Not having a lot of guys hit the portal. We've had some great success with Matt Ramos a few years ago making the national finals, and then again Joey Blaze. And to still have our guys in the program knowing what's out there for them from a monetary standpoint speaks again to the group that we have, the bonds that they have, as well as them understanding what Purdue is about. It's still about relationships and development. And I can't say that about everybody, in this NCAA landscape. That the portals made it transactional, right? Come in, get paid, and leave. And that certainly is not what we are about. We are still about relationships and development. And I feel good about that.
Matt Ramos, thank you for mentioning him, because I do want to talk about him. One of the most decorated wrestlers, and quite frankly, in Purdue history. I can think back to his redshirt sophomore year. In my personal opinion, saw him with the biggest win in the history of Purdue wrestling. He beat a 3-time national champion. Not only just beat him, we're talking about Spencer Lee of Iowa, he pinned him, a 3-time national champ, pinned by Matt Ramos, and Matt would go on to have a stellar career. 31-3 last year as a senior, got his degree in May, and then he comes to you and says, hey, I'd like to get into coaching. Talk about keeping your guys at home. You talk about transfer portal and those kind of things. What about a guy like Matt Ramos, who was one of your student athletes, and now he's on the coaching staff?
Yeah,
that means?
No, it means everything to us, because again, I talk about, for us, it's about relationships and development. And when you have a young man who's had other opportunities, as I mentioned, could have gone a lot of places for a lot of money, but says, hey, I want to stay and pour back into the teammates that I've been here working with for the last few years. Man, you really understand this team, as well as Purdue, means something special to them, right? Again, those are the bonds that I think I've appreciated through 28 years of coaching. That's what it's about. It's about these memories and these bonds with your teammates. You're in the trenches together, no matter the sport. And so for him to say, hey, I want to stay and pour back into these guys, means everything to me, and about what we're creating and building here, right? That's like results in action. That's the fruits of your labor. It's not just wins and losses right? I mean, we love the wins. We celebrate them big, but when you have those kinds of feelings about your alma mater and your team, man, you're doing something right.
Joey Blaze.
All name team, Joey Blaze.
Is that his real name? Is that not I mean, there's no way. Blaze,
that is his real name. So yeah, God-given name, man.
Talk about just opportunities for marketing deals with a kid like this. That's unbelievable. For Boilers, I know Boilermaker fans are familiar with them, obviously, but the special season he had last year, what are the expectations, and what have you seen from him in the offseason preparing for hopefully another huge year at him?
Yeah, expectations are very high. I mean, from Joey and as well as our staff. He's becoming what we envisioned when he came in. He came in a pretty heralded recruit, a lot of recruiting accolades and high school things on his resume. So we expected this out of Joey, and I think you saw a different young man last year, than his freshman year. Like I talk about, he always had those expectations and expected to win, but he placed such a premium on winning. I almost think it led to him being cautious and not wanting to make a mistake, right? And that wasn't what he's about. He's about going out, kind of letting it rip, scoring points, and seeing as many positions as he can, being free and loose, right? You think about, people who throw the ball football-wise all over the yard, right? Just sling it everywhere. That's how we want Joey to compete. Like sling it everywhere, get in there, mix it up, and see a lot of positions. And that wasn't quite Joey his freshman year because, again, he wanted to win so bad and knew he was capable that we didn't get the best version of him. Now, last year, you fast forward into his sophomore year, he figured that out. He was more about, hey, I know I'm capable, but I want to compete and know that when I'm done, no matter how many matches I wrestled, I want to feel good and proud about every match that I put out. Like, hey, I look at that and win, lose, or draw, I competed well, I executed hard, I did the right things. And that's all he made it about last year. And then you saw the results followed. So big growth from Joey mentally. Always had the physical skill sets and the technical, expertise. But I think where he kind of developed as a young man, as a competitor, was huge for him moving forward.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the mental side of it because I feel like, novices like myself, you think of wrestling, it's just girth, physical, tackle and get him.
Yep.
Can you break down a little bit the mental aspect of wrestling and kind of how much maybe percentage-wise, fine balance between mental and physical?
Yeah, to me, when you have skill sets like Joey and many guys on our team, identifying physical attributes and skill sets, technical skills for us is easy to do. In this day and age, there's so much film out there everywhere, right? There's film to be found in every situation. And once you watch a guy wrestle, say, 10, 15 matches on film, you have a good idea how they compete and what their physical assets are like. Well, then it becomes more of this mental aspect that we're talking about because in the Big Ten, specifically wrestling, and most sports, right? Let's be honest. It comes down to, do you have a passion for what you're doing? Because if you do, it's going to see you through the hard, right? One thing I can tell you about athletics in the Big Ten, hard's coming. It's coming. You don't know when, and we saw hard with Purdue football. I mean, that unfortunate, the way it ended, that's adversity. That's a heartbreaker. There's a lot of that, and hard's coming, and you've got to have a passion and mental resolve to push through those kinds of things and find growth. And again, we knew Joey had the passion, but then he had to find for him, hey, what's this really about? How do I get the most out of myself? And it's not the same, though, for every kid. Joey may have to free himself up and keep it, hey, free and loose. And maybe it's just, I know Joey told himself a lot, I'm just thankful for this opportunity. He said that all the time, by the way. Walking out at Nationals, he'd be walking to his mat in the corner. Just thankful to be here, man. I'm ready to go. I'm just thankful to be here. And that was him. Another guy, maybe you got to get a little darker in your head. Maybe you got to ramp it up and think some dark thoughts, and I got to get ready to really be physical. So it's a little different, but the mental aspect is undeniable for everybody.
What about the intentional process? I bring this up. Purdue fans, I would encourage you to go to PurdueSports.com, go to the wrestling homepage, and look up the story that was written this past offseason about Joey Blaze and about Matt Ramos, actually, where Joey Blaze speaks very specifically and openly about ADHD and how he struggles with it and how wrestling helps him not only battle ADHD as a competitor in the arena, but in the classroom and in his everyday life. And he mentions in that story, Coach, that you have a phrase that you like to use early and often with our wrestlers, intentional process. And Joey talks specifically about how he always has that on his mind. And no matter what walk of life he happens to be competing in. Would you mind speaking about intentional process and what you bring to our team from a leadership standpoint from that category, I guess?
I'm glad to hear Joey speak on it. It means I'm getting through, and I have no doubt he's listening. I talk all the time. There's a difference in how you compete and how you train. But when we are in the wrestling room, we are very intentional about how we do things and what our process is to get better, right? Like, we're just going to the last detail. And you hear many coaches talk about this, but we are very intentional to do the right things, to think the right ways, to just live the right way. We're very intentional about that day to day so that when we go compete, hey, the phrase that I use is, hey, you want to play like you're in the sandbox. Like, truly, you sacrifice and suffer daily so that when you get to go compete, man, let's have fun. You deserve to have fun now and be free in the moment. And so while we're intentional day to day about how we live and think and train, man, when you get to the game or the match, hey, man, we're grateful and we're gonna have fun now. We're gonna fly around and we're gonna get after people. And that, to me, is how we get to our best selves. Get the most out of each other. You got to have fun.
Yeah.
You got to have fun. So that's part of being really intentional day to day. But then, man, when we get there to the match, let's play like we're in the sandbox when we were kids. We're going to have fun. We're going to play. and get after people. So that's more about how I like my guys to think about getting better. But understand, you deserve to enjoy this when you get out in front of the crowd, man. This isn't a time to shrink from it. This isn't time to enjoy what you've done.
Yeah.
I feel like wrestling is such a motivational sport where you have to tap into different, because it's so physical and there's such a grind to it. As your team, do you have any sort of specific motivational movies, clips, shows, songs that you pull around? I mean, is it just Rocky 3? What is it?
That's not bad. I don't use those a lot. I may make some references here and there. I love to pull motivation from wherever I find it. I love whether I'm reading, something or watching a movie. Who doesn't like Rocky, right? Who doesn't like Vision Quest if you're a wrestler, right? Climbing those mountains. So who doesn't like those things? But I just try to pull motivation from lots of places. Like, I'll give you an example. I was just reading Abraham Lincoln this week, and just something off the wall, but I love to read in my downtime, like on Sundays, because it's rarely do I get a chance, right? So Sunday, and I was reading something from Abraham Lincoln, and it was a great passage, and I'll just start sending that to my guys. Just, hey, think about this, or what do you think about that? just to get them thinking, and maybe even look for other ways to find motivation themselves. Because again, it's so individual. What motivates one guy, we talk all the time about what your why is. Whether it's professionally, you guys have a why. I'm here working, I'm grinding hard, and here's why. And everybody has a different why, and so you're trying to tap into that with different guys. And so to me, I've got to find out what makes them tick, what motivates them, and then try to tap into that as much as I can. And so again, it comes from lots of places, I guess.
Purdue looking for its first national champion individually since 1992. Joey Blaze, one would certainly think, is going to be on the short list of being a potential national champ. But here's the thing, Coach, from maybe Purdue fans that don't know this, Joey Blaze is changing weights this year, going up to 165. Talk about a personal sacrifice. You were just the national runner-up at 157, but you say, I know what's best for the team. I'll go up to 165, but it allows you to get Stoney Buell back in the lineup. He'll go down from 165 to 157. Yeah. Obviously, he has the tougher job. He has to cut the weight. Joey gets to eat all he wants, right? But what about that sacrifice, and more importantly, getting Stoney Buell back in the lineup?
Yeah, and great opportunity here. I think this is going to be great for both guys, honestly. We've talked a lot about Joey and his capabilities. He was growing at the end of last year, so he did undergo a great sacrifice in terms of his nutrition and discipline to keep making 157. If you've been around him, he's a tall, long, lanky kid, so cut a lot of make to weight 57. So this is, I think, is a better move for him. Still very competitive and has the same opportunities to win a national title. Stoney, who has shown great in national championship qualifier for us as well, but a little shorter, stockier build. I think going into his senior year and a team captain for us, I think this could be a good move for him. He's a physical kid, wants to wrestle a physical style. So now he's going to be at a weight where he can be more physical. And he's more like how you talk about, you think of wrestlers, just that physical grind. Stoney has some of that with him. And so again, I think going down, while the sacrifice from a nutrition standpoint is bigger, he's got to be super disciplined in that diet and how he makes weight, I think is going to pay big dividends in terms of his discipline and how he can compete against, typically a smaller weight class for him, being up at 165 before. So yeah, it's good move for the team, and I think each guy individually.
You're talking about bulking up, about heavyweight Hayden Filipovich. I bulked up over 50 pounds. Talk about a sacrifice, but to Rob's point, maybe not so much of a sacrifice if you're able to, get some sugar and some everything in you. We have the notes here called Mr. Reliable. What is, obviously it says what it is for your program, but what does he mean to you as a coach and to this team?
Another guy, when he started talking about culture earlier. This is another guy, right? Backbone of your team, who is about the right things, a super guy, an all Big Ten academic performer. And then again, will do whatever is asked of him, has competed as low as 184 pounds. And then we had some injuries and had to make do on the fly, asked him to go up to heavyweight, and eventually, qualified for the national championships last year, going 1-2, but took the first half of last year just to fill into the weight, right? You just don't gain weight and automatically wrestle guys who are, 284 pounds and look good doing it. So he had to transform his body, and that took time. So again, from a success standpoint, I think he's in a much better place to feel good about what he's going to do with the weight. First half of last year is like, hey, I got to figure this out. I'm wrestling bigger competition, and it's a different style, right? Different skill sets, and he figured that out, and now he knows going in, and he's added size as well. So Mr. Reliable is going to be even more reliable in terms, I think, of his results and what he's going to do, but still the leadership and who he is for this team has been big.
Two other guys before we cut you loose. Grayson Clark at 141, Brody Bowman at 174, both NCAA national qualifiers for you last year. Expecting even better things from them again this year.
Yeah, they've been around the block a time or two, right? Both two-time national qualifiers, been to the show, understand what it takes. They have the talent, and they've been putting in the training, so big expectations on them to make another jump, right? As a team, if we want to keep climbing, it can't just be, Joey, right? You've got to have those other guys. It was Matt in the past. So, guys like, Grayson Clark, Brody Bowman, you obviously get looked at because of where they've been and what their national ranking is. I will say that we have a number of guys on this team that I'm excited to kind of watch have breakouts as well this year.
Sure.
Last one for me. Of all the sports at Purdue, you think that Purdue Pete would be the best at wrestling?
Yeah, I love Purdue Pete in a singlet. I'll get you. I got a version of that now. We haven't always had from the marketing standpoint had the freedom to just put him on a singlet, but we've actually got that done now, and so Purdue Pete looks pretty dang good in a singlet, boys.
I will admit, Joey and I actually got a sneak peek of that earlier this morning. I don't know if we were supposed to see it yet.
You've seen it, then I like it. It's getting out
nice.
there. Then
it is nice. It is very cool. Well, listen, here's all you need to know about Purdue wrestling and the gauntlet they will be facing this year. It starts this coming weekend. On Saturday, Purdue wrestling against Cal Poly out in California, and then Sunday they go to Cal State Bakersfield. That's how Purdue starts the season. And then, of course, don't forget the Big Ten gauntlet is not far away. How good is the Big Ten in wrestling? Well, the last 18 national champions in a row have come from the Big Ten. That's how good the Big Ten is in wrestling. Here's what you need to know also, fans, if you want to come watch our Boilermakers compete. Boilermaker Duels, November the 15th. That's in Lambert Fieldhouse. Always kind of a cool event to do one in Lambert Fieldhouse. And February the 1st, Mackey Mania 2. You'll like that. Mackey Mania 2 in the Boilermakers basketball home, Mackey Arena against Wisconsin, February 1. I know you look forward to that event too.
Love it. Always look forward to seeing a wrestling mat down in the center of Mackey Arena. I love that. Just like Dave loves that volleyball net up in there, right? I mean, we all love it.
Had Coach Shondell on.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, one guy that really likes playing in Mackey Arena is our All-American point guard for our men's basketball program, Braden Smith. He's going to join us next on For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. Coach, good luck to you. Enjoy talking some wrestling with you here today.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Coach.
Braden Smith joins us next. Stay with us. Welcome back to For Pete's Sake, the official podcast for Purdue Athletics. We say thank you to head wrestling coach Tony Ersland, and now we turn our attention to Purdue men's basketball as we welcome Braden Smith. He's a preseason All-American. He's the preseason pick to be the Big Ten Player of the Year. He's on the Bob Cousy Award watch list, as well he should be. He won the award last year. And more importantly, he is trying to help our Boilermakers get back to the Final Four, something he accomplished when he was a sophomore in a Purdue uniform. Braden Smith, welcome. Nice to see you, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
A lot of things to talk with you about, but let us begin with this. 2 seasons ago, you go to the Final Four. What a season it was. We all remember it quite well. Has a group of seniors now, I'm speaking specifically you, Fletch, Trey Kaufman-Wren. You've been there, right? You've been almost to the mountaintop. You've been awfully close, right? What has been the discussion in the offseason about what it will take to get back to that mountaintop?
Yeah, I mean, obviously being on campus in June and July, being able to practice and, just having the younger guys that are there on campus. I feel like our main focus has truly just been just get in and get work done. I mean, I think that's the thing is, and when those times come up during the season of a certain whatever, like a setback or something negative that happens, I mean, we've almost been through every possible scenario on the basketball court, good or bad. So understanding that and being able to help the younger guys is kind of our main focus. But I mean, we have individual meetings, we have team meetings, player led, coaches led, whatever it is. So I mean, we do a lot of different things, but just try to talk and get that more in everybody's mind of what our goals are.
We were showing some of our favorite plays of yours before you came on here, but we have right now something we wanted you to take a look at, and this is from your Mackey debut. What was this, November of 22?
Yep.
Right?
First ever exhibition game for Braden Smith.
What were your thoughts as a youngin' back then playing in this game? Feel how far you've come from that moment there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely first time actually seeing this. Yeah. But no, it's actually awesome seeing that, and obviously that's your dream as a kid to be able to go out and play on a stage like this.
Baby face there, got the facial hair. Could you grow the facial hair back then?
I think so. I think I just never let it go.
There you go.
But no, just like I said, it's just something that you always work on and work towards to try to get to, and obviously making it to this level's everybody's goal and dream. So obviously being able to do it and play in front of a crowd like Mackey. One of a kind. So
I do have your numbers from that game. 0 for 2 shooting. Both attempts were 3-point shots. Let me see. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal. Thinking back to that game, I enjoyed looking at you as you were watching a highlight, the smile on your face. Thinking back to that game, from then to where you are now, a first team preseason All-American. In your wildest dreams coming out of that Truman State game, did you think to yourself, hey, man, 3 years from now, I'm going to be a first-team All-American?
I mean, no, never at this extent. I mean, I always knew, like, people ask me, like, did you always think that you'd be good at Purdue and play at Purdue? And I've always been like, well, yeah, because whose mindset isn't that? Like, I put in the time, I put in the work as if anybody should, and I overwork a lot of the people that I'm around. So, like, for me, it was always more of, like, I'll get there, just don't know when type of moment. So that's just how I was. And obviously seeing that game wasn't a pretty game, and you'll have those games every once in a while, but I mean, just stay the course and understand that I put enough time and work into my craft and my game, and you'll have those games, but you also have good ones.
A few new faces on this year's squad, obviously transfer portal guys, with Oscar, and then you get Omer. Did you have any hand in kind of recruitment, helping bringing them there? How much so, if you did?
Yeah, no, Omer I think was the main one. Obviously just another guard. So like, I think for me, like my early years, like I had PJ because he was there. He's in the system, on the coaching staff, runs the offense, was kind of, just understood what it was like to be a point guard. And like, so he was able to help me out because he's been through it. He's been through the scenarios and different situations. So I think it helped me having someone like that. So if I did go through like that first game where I was struggling, like he's like, dude, like it's all right. Like, move on. It's a long season, that type of thing. So having somebody like that, and then obviously I helped Omer. We all knew that he was good, and PJ actually sent me like a YouTube video of this guy that we were looking to get, and it was Omer's highlights over there when he was playing FIBA. And I was like, dang, he's actually like really good, and had to get his WhatsApp number because he didn't have iMessage.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Goodman,
so I had to get his WhatsApp, but no, just reached out to him, and he was here on his visit. And then obviously I was there. I went to dinner, went and picked him up, kind of just talked to him and just trying to pick his brain a little bit. And he was texting me just really excited and was like I really want to play with you. And like, he was really adamant on like, I'm not here to take your spot and all this. I'm like, dude, like, don't worry about it. Like, yeah, like that's not like, we want you here because you're good enough to be here and you deserve to be here. Like, don't worry about any of that other stuff. Like, whatever will happen happens. Like, you'll fit in our system and you'll fit with us well. So that's really just was my main message to him, and just trying to be there and help him.
I mean, it's really impressive though, because I feel like that speaks a lot of just the culture that Coach Painter has built here, and then having players that stick around, leaders like yourself. I mean, to be able to say that, because I feel like nowadays a lot of times people would be like, hey man, yeah, kind of step off my territory a little bit.
No, 100%. I mean, I think it truly goes straight to paint just on what he's built. Because I think every Purdue player that's been here would tell you the same thing of how it is. Like, that's why a lot of people don't leave. That's why they come back. That's why me, Trey, Fletch chose to come back. Yeah. That's what he's built, and that's the program that he has. And having people like that, like I've truly in my 4 years, like, like in high school, you have different groups that you hang out with. You have that group you like a little bit better than those guys, but they're your teammates. Like, I felt like as a collective group, we've always been really tight. Like, I've never had an issue in college at all. And so I think that just speaks to Coach Paint even more on a deeper level, and kind of just it helps us out too, and shows how good of people we are too. So
Yeah.
just normal people that just love to play basketball.
When this interview is over, do you mind explaining to me what WhatsApp is?
Yeah, we're trying to get him caught up on the TikTok and everything.
Yes, help me with that. I don't want to derail this interview, but I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Time for bed.
Yeah. Well, you're real funny. Real funny. All right, Braden, your mother, an outstanding basketball player, Miss Basketball in the state of Arkansas, played in college. Your dad, college basketball player. For you, was it always basketball all the way, or did you tinker with other sports growing up?
No, I mean, I played baseball and football growing up. I played up a year in baseball. I was actually pretty decent at baseball. Wasn't very good. Third base.
Okay.
Yeah, third
They have an arm.
Yeah, third base. Quarterback for football.
Yeah.
So I was pretty decent. I wish I would have kept and stuck with that in high school. I stopped intermediate school, but I think basketball's just always been it. Obviously, like you said, my parents both played, and once they were done, so I was born in Arkansas, they coached for, I think it was a JUCO college or a high school. I don't know which one it was, but they coached the team, and obviously being there, like I was there in the gym every day.
Sure.
At a young age. Obviously, I think I moved, actually here was the first place I moved in Indiana, in Lafayette. But, I mean, I just think just being around basketball my whole life.
Yeah, so how beneficial to have a mom and a dad, look, who not only played, but they coach and they understand it. They can really break down the X's and O's for you.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is just the understanding piece. Like, I mean, obviously, like, having somebody in your corner that has been through something similar, obviously not to the extent of what we're going through and Purdue, but I mean they've made it to the next level. They understand the work ethic, the time, like the nutrition, the stuff on your body. So definitely having that is a huge plus. And it's just like I said earlier, like with PJ, like someone that's been through it, that has all the ins and outs that can help you. I mean, I think that's just truly beneficial to have.
I saw in an interview you said that you try to take bits of their games from SGA, Steph Curry. So does that mean that you are not a Pacers fan?
All right, I'm a huge Pacers fan.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. Were you able to go to any of the playoff run this past summer?
I had opportunities to, and ended up shutting it down. I don't know why, terrible decision on my part, but I think me and some buddies ended up just staying and having some people over and watching the games instead, but I did have a couple opportunities.
Well, I mean, it'd probably be pretty tough for you, right? You're out there at Cambridge and people would want to be stopping you and everything.
I don't know if that's the case.
No?
I mean,
okay.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't really answer.
Yeah, that's true. All right. What, do you take anything from Tyrese Halliburton's game?
100%. I mean, that's really all I do. I watch basketball when I'm not playing it. I'm on 2K on Xbox playing it, or I'm watching it sitting at home on my TV. I'm looking up a bunch of different workouts that guys do. Like I follow Jalen Brunson a lot because he's really good in the mid-range. That's where I get part of my game from, obviously because he's a smaller guard. So being able to just take bits and pieces from everybody. I know I kind of get categorized in the TJ McConnell, Peyton Pritchard because of how I am and, you know, all that stuff. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like if you just watch basketball and try to take bits and pieces from everybody, it can truly benefit you.
I would like you to talk about your senior running mates. I've already mentioned TK and Fletch, but certainly Sam King gets thrown in there too, right? He's a part of that senior class. Maybe just a little bit on what those guys have meant to you and in your process and your growth here at Purdue as a player and quite frankly, just as a student athlete.
Yeah, definitely with Trey and Fletch. Obviously, we've, like I've said earlier, like we've been through literally everything. All the ups, all the downs, the good, the bad, the in-between. So, I mean, having them along my side, it benefits us this year, especially because we're able to help the younger dudes out that are here and getting their first stab at it. So I think it's just truly like I'm PJ now for an Omer, for Antoine, for those CJ Jakari, like that's who I am for them. So like I understood how beneficial that was for me my freshman year, so that's what I'm trying to be for them. And I think it's the same for Trey with Daniel, and
sure.
Oscar probably doesn't need it as much because he's a little bit older, but just still with Oscar to help him in those times, Raleigh, all them, and then Fletch with the wings. So right. I think just having them by our side, that like it's just so beneficial because we've been through so much. And then Sam King, obviously, like I know he doesn't play or get that kind of recognition, but in practice every single day, like he makes those bigs better. Like if you came to our practice, you would notice that like he makes it difficult for us coming off ball screens, making reads. He makes it difficult for the bigs to get rebounds. He gets offensive rebounds. He pushes everybody, and he wins a lot of the sprints. Like when there's a team that loses, like he's up there top 3 every time. So, I mean, he works his butt off and gets in and still does what we do on an everyday basis.
Harry's hot seat is returning this week. So before we get to that, this last one before we get to Harry's hot seat.
Yeah, I hope you're ready.
Similarities, differences from the Final Four team of 2 years ago to what you've seen this offseason and only one exhibition into this year's team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't have Zach, so that's
quite a big one.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
But I mean, I think this year, just like I said, like we were young going into that national championship game. Obviously we had Zach and Lance and Mason, some older guys, but now just me, Fletch, and Trey are kind of that core group now. So, and like I said, and keep repeating on, is just that we've had that experience. We've been able to witness everything that you can witness on a basketball court or go through. So I think just having that, and then we have a really good young group and good core. Like I truly think, like you hear it a lot, but I think we have 15 guys that could play in a game. Like I truly do believe that, and like they show it every day in practice. So I think that would probably be the difference, and just nothing to take away from that national championship team, because obviously we were really good. But I think that would be the big difference, is probably the depth.
Final question from me before the Harry's hot seat heats up. More beneficial in your mind, this is just your opinion, more beneficial for your senior class in trying to accomplish the goal of being a national champion this year? Would it be the loss in the first round to a 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson, or the run 2 years ago where you went all the way to the national championship game? At the end of the day, what do you believe is the most beneficial between those two that ultimately could help propel you to, again, as we started this conversation, the mountaintop?
That doesn't really answer it, but honestly, both. I mean, I just think having a loss like that, obviously nobody goes out to plan to lose that game. Like, to me, it just felt like it was a movie moment. Like you're just out there, and it's just like it happened, and the ending's there, and you're just like, oh, like what just happened, type of thing. So I think that helps, because I think that next year it really kick-started off our run and what we were able to accomplish, and then obviously being able to go through all that and experience that the next year. Like, I mean, everywhere we went, we heard those chants.
Oh yeah,
of getting booed, getting all the hate that we got from the year before. So I think for us, like it's both. It's being able to lose to a 16 seed like that, to want to be able to work hard and put our head down in the off season to be better than next year, and then that next year being able to deal with all that stuff that's going around in the air, along with just focusing on our team goals and together as a group.
All right, Braden. Harry's hot seat. You're going to join the likes of Ryan Brown and Coach Dave Shondell, and it is what it sounds like. I got some rapid-fire questions. You just, what comes to mind first of all, and then there you go. Cool. All right, Harry's hot seat. Braden Smith. Favorite restaurant at Purdue?
Triple X.
If you started a podcast, what would it be about?
I'm about to, and basketball.
Which of your teammates would be your co-host?
Probably Fletcher.
That'd be good. This isn't part of it, but any title names you're working with?
It's called Running Point.
I love it. I could see some good merch from that.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, our viewers just went down.
No Sleepers Media?
I've heard.
I think we're going to do a little partnership with them. We do a little mix.
Is this breaking news? Can we put slap that on there? Yeah. Okay. Running Point, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer. Mount Rushmore of video games. I know you're a big video game guy.
Yep. NBA 2K.
Specific year?
I like this year a lot, but I think 2K20 was probably the best. Call of Duty, really any of them. I think those were just always fun. I feel like Fortnite's got to be up there. Probably not now, like not this time, but a couple years ago. And then I would say the last one, that's difficult. I don't know, probably Madden.
Easy. All right.
Yeah.
If not, you talked about it a little bit earlier, if not basketball, what other sport could you play at Purdue?
At Purdue?
Yeah. If you had to.
That's a good question. I would just say football. I just feel like, I don't know.
Would you be slinging it? Slot receiver?
I don't know. Maybe.
You're a quarterback. I feel like elementary.
Yeah, but we got a quarterback, so we're good. But I don't know. Just wherever the coach. I wouldn't mind like a safety too.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
For sure. Which of your teammates would give a speech at your future wedding?
A speech? Oh. I think I would want Omer to do it. Only because I think his would be kind of interesting and funny, you know? Something different.
Would he go notes or would he go from the heart?
He'd go notes. For sure.
Yeah, short and quick, I feel like, too. Who would play Coach Painter in a movie about the Final Four team?
Trey. That's right.
Great casting. And then you mentioned Triple X at the start. The Braden Smith special at Triple X one day will be what? What's the meal consist of?
I'm not gonna lie, I just started trying that peanut butter burger, the Purvis.
Yeah.
I just tried that and I added bacon on it because that's what they said to do. So it's peanut butter, cheese, burger, bacon, but it's already like something. So like I don't know, like sometimes I'll go in for breakfast and get like a meat lover's omelet with like a biscuit, but then sometimes like it depends, like it just depends.
What if you did that burger with the meat lovers omelet and that's the side? So it's a burger and a meat lovers
Yeah, then let's do that. Yeah.
Braden Smith special. All right. Here's hot seat. Thanks, buddy.
Braden, before we cut you loose, I don't know if you watch this podcast at all, but if so, when we had Coach Painter on a couple of weeks ago, he said that you have meant so much to this program that when you come back to Purdue years from now, that you should never, ever have to buy popcorn at the concession stand. Someone should always offer to buy your popcorn for what you have meant to Purdue basketball. So, from Joey and I, if we're ever close to you at the concession stand at Mackey, you need to know we will purchase your popcorn.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
We appreciate what you have done for Purdue basketball. Good luck to you and your teammates. Season starts officially, fans, Tuesday, November the 4th. The Evansville Purple Aces at Mackey Arena for a 7 o'clock tip-off. Braden, thanks. Enjoyed it, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
One final segment to go here on For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. Stay with us. Final segment, everyone, of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. This is episode number 6. We hope you have had as much fun today as we have. With that, Joey Mulinaro, what have we learned today?
Well, I should say, reminder to everybody out there, we were talking about those highlights. So we do have the YouTube option that you can watch if you want to see those highlights up there that we were talking about. For the listeners out there, you want to go back and check those out and relive those great memories. Things we learned. Coach Ersland talking about, I thought it was fascinating, the mental side of wrestling.
Yeah.
So much physicality. It's such a physical sport. So much goes into it with conditioning and, you're just grappling, like you said earlier. But breaking down how the mental aspect of wrestling really makes a key difference and the different buttons that he has to push for his different guys. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then Braden Smith, we learned that hopefully we're not going out of business because him and Fletcher Lawyer are starting a podcast. So if you guys just want to add that into your Rolodex of pods that you listen to, we'd appreciate that. I don't know when it's coming out, but apparently that's breaking news. And then I thought it was interesting what he talked about when asked about the difference between the 2024 Final Four team as opposed to this year's team going into it. And he really keyed in on the depth that this year's squad is looking to have. Said 15 players could play. Get no shot at that 2024 team. But you remember, it's a little bit of a shorter bench than what he's expecting for the 25-26 Boilers.
And Coach Painter has said as much. What I learned is that our heavyweight wrestler, Filipovich, he actually had the tough task this summer of having to put on 50 pounds. Oh, how terrible.
I mean, you could do that pretty easily, right?
Easily.
We got a few ways.
Well, I wouldn't give to have someone tell me, we need you to put on 50 pounds, right? Oh, no problem.
What's that place me and you met at back in the summer?
Oh, gosh. The Rusty Bucket?
The Rusty, we'd be drinking the Rusty Bucket a few times, me and you, if that was the case. So,
that was a fun day.
Filipovich,
that was a fun day. Well, it was the day I thought to myself, you know what, this Joey guy's okay. I don't think I'll mind doing a podcast with him.
It wasn't our first meeting.
No. But it was the first where he kind of could get to know each other intimately, and that was cool. You turned out to be okay. So
thank you.
I think we'll keep you around for episode number 7 if you're okay with that.
That works for me. Looking forward to it.
Well, here's who helped with episode number 6. Our executive producer, as always, Patrick Crawford. Our producer is Corey Palm. Brad Summer is our director. Big thanks to Brooke and to Chris and Rosie, who also helped behind the scenes today. For my broadcast partner, Joey Mulinaro, we thank you for being a part of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. Hope you have a great week, everyone, and we'll look forward to visiting with you soon.
Boiler up.